Let's bring you to this conversation Emma Gilligan, author of Terror in Chechnya. Welcome back, Congressman Steve Cohen of Tennessee. And Jeremy, one of the through lines in this book, we were just talking about the fact that American citizens have been on this kill list. The kill list is the kind of central character of the book, this central policy tool of going out and finding the folks that the government has judged a threat. That in getting members of this kill list, people that are on it, sometimes we often work with rather unsavory forces. You have some amazing footage in the movie and amazing reporting in the book of Somalia, where we are essentially cooperating with warlords that under any other circumstances it'd be hard to imagine we would count as an ally.
Right. I mean, we're essentially outsourcing the kill program in Somalia to these notorious thugs that were part of the destruction of Somalia beginning in the early 90s. And some of these people are lined up by CIA and given $200 monthly cash payments. I discovered a CIA base at the airport in Mogadishu, Somalia, and that U.S. interrogators are using an underground prison in Somalia's National Security Service where they're interrogating suspected members of al-Shabaab or other so-called high-value targets. And under the Obama administration, renditions have continued. And I tell the story of one man in particular who was snatched off the streets of Nairobi and then sent to this secret prison in the basement of Mogadishu's airport. I mean, this should be a scandal. Obama said that he ended these things, and yet he's continuing them, but by proxy. There's been tweaks to the machine, but in general, a lot of the policies that many liberals were outraged about under Bush have continued under Obama, just with a kind of rebranding.
Let me ask this question of Emma. I want to read you the statement from the Kremlin about the aftermath of Boston. The Russian and the U.S. president have agreed to increase cooperation on counterterrorism following the Boston Marathon bombings. The Kremlin said on Saturday both sides underlined their interest in deepening the close cooperation of the Russian and U.S. special services, the fight against international terrorism, but gave no details. I think one of the reasons I wanted to have you here and Jeremy here and the congressman is that what we have seen over the last 4 or 5 years is an expansion of the battlefield. And in the wake of the fact that we are dealing with, it appears, suspects who are ethnically Chechen, who were in Dagestan, one of whom was apparently in Dagestan, what would it look like for the U.S. and Russia to cooperate more closely? And is that a good or bad idea, Emma?
Well, I think that's probably been happening for quite a while now, and but I think shared intelligence sources is a good idea generally, actually. But you know, the degree to which the intelligence services in Russia, they have improved certainly over the last 5 years, and that's precisely because they've managed to get more local communicators, local Dagestanis, local Chechens to actually act on their behalf as intelligence gatherers. Now that's obviously, as we know, also problematic because it creates divisions within that particular society. But it has to be said that Russian intelligence has improved over the last 5 years. In both regions, and if the Russian government is prepared to continue sharing information, as it openly said that it would also do after September 11, 2001, then hopefully that kind of cooperation can help them get to the core of the problem. I think one of the core problems, though, as we all know, is a socio-economic one, that essentially in these regions they're very poor.
We also have, it also seems like the situation in Chechnya particularly highlights some of the downside of force as a method of counterterrorism, insofar as we have seen that area of the world become violent the more force that has been applied to it.
Yeah, I mean, what we're seeing is actually the results of two Chechen wars in the 1990s, enormous disproportionate force used against the Chechen population, and the Islamization of the region.
Congressman, what oversight do you want to see applied to the kinds of things that Jeremy's talking about?
I think there needs to be some to guarantee our Constitution is still what we live by. At the same time, the world is shrinking, and we have to be aware of the problems that there are out there. There are Dr. No's in the world. They used to just be on the movie screen. Now they're in real life. And you've got to be concerned about that. I think getting together with Russia is good, although the Bowling Green Steve Cohen should talk about that.
I think every member of Congress should read this book. Jeremy Scahill, author of Dirty Wars, which is out tomorrow. Congressman Steve Cohen of Tennessee, Emma Gilligan from the University of Connecticut. Thank you. That is all in for this evening. The Rachel